Good morning, y'all. It's your girl Judy, and welcome to my channel, The Main Ingredient. I'm coming over here smiling. I hope y'all smiling too. And if you wasn't, I hope I just gave you something to smile about. Okay, happy Monday. I hope you guys are feeling well. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Baby, my weekend was good. It was good and busy. And I'm finna share a story time with y'all. Okay, so this weekend, right? This weekend was kind of heavy because there was a lot more. Like, I knew that already there was a lot going on, but apparently there was a little more going on than what I picked up on. So previously, I had gone to church, and at the church that I attend, they always have like lots and lots of events upcoming. They doing you got all kinds of little programs and different things going on from the adults all the way down to the babies. Okay, and there was something of interest that I wanted to participate in that I registered for and signed up, and that was on the 11th. Okay, so this was pre-planned. Now, previous, I had taken care of some business and was expecting a shipment, and I got the shipment, and the shipment was not as advertised. Like, baby, I ordered something that was not as advertised. And the crazy thing about it was I did my due diligence in researching. Like, I know how this works. I did my due diligence in researching testimonials, reviews, like everything, other items, you know what I'm saying? Just, I checked the validity of the site, which the validity of the site wasn't really the issue. Because I knew they was valid. I've seen, product in hand. You know what I'm saying? It just, unfortunately, there was nothing in hand that I could get, so I had to order. Look this product up and down, custom order. On top of that, it comes. It is not as advertised. Okay, I'm talking about a big disappointment. Like, my kids could have put something better together, and they are not experts in this area, but just it was so disappointing, and it shifted some things. It shifted some things. It shifted some spirits. So I panicked. I freaked out, and I'm like, okay, I'm hoping for the best because this is for an upcoming event, and this item was needed. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of panicked, and I'm like, I don't know how, but I know this thing is gonna work out. And then I get to uh, going back and forth, like conversing with my eldest, because this is something that we're doing together, and it also affects her. And she went into a panic also, but like, she was just sure. She was like, this is gonna work out. This is gonna work out. Everything's gonna be okay. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And I'm finna get my money back, and I'm finna do this, and I'm finna do that, because I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe this. And she was just like, Mom, we don't need that right now. We don't need that right now. We just need positive vibes. This is a blow. This is a little setback, but it's gonna work out, man. Just stay positive. So I'm like, okay, cool. So now we're coming closer to this timetable where we need to figure something out. Because if we don't figure out what we need to figure out by this now past weekend, it's like I really have to go forward with my next measure, which is just, making some disputes with some folks, okay? Reaching out to some people like, hey, I can't do nothing with this, and I'm not finna hear y'all tell me because it's a custom order, you're not gonna accept it back. Like, you're gonna do something, because I'm telling you, I'm finna get this money back. Anyway, my daughter, she like, we need to go look, and we need to go do this and that. And I'm like, cool. And the way we are going to approach this was going to be like a two birds, one stone, because again, it came down to this weekend, and it just so happened we didn't know that this custom item was going to flop. It was going to be a flop. It was not going to be as advertised. And then it was going to hit on the weekend of the church event that I wanted to go to, which is so important, right? Okay. So, we getting down to the day, because the evening before I was praying on it. I was like, do I still go to this event, or do we prioritize XYZ? Because we had exhausted some other measures about going and look elsewhere to see if we could find something comparable. I'm talking about nothing. And I could sense, my daughter was beginning to feel away. And I'm like, again, like, man, if this don't happen like this by this weekend, I have to go in and do these other measures. I'm like, we can go, or we could try, but if this don't land, I'm hoping it land. But if it don't, I'm already prepared to do what I got to do. And she's like, no. She's like, no, don't be like that. Just, keep the vibes positive. I'm like, I am keeping the vibe positive, but I'm blue. Like, I'm blue. I done cried about it. She done cried about it. Everything. And I started praying on whether or not I should go to my church event, because I was feeling the unsettling in my spirit. I really was, because the two birds, one stone. So the two birds, one stone situation was, before me and my daughter had planned to go, I was going to go to the church event, and I was going to send her and her sisters to try out another potential resource to remedy our issue. And then we were going to reconvene after my event to see, okay, like, what's the next move? You know what I'm saying? Did this land? How did this work? Do we got to go somewhere else and, attempt another avenue? And that was the plan. She was gonna, I was gonna go my way and go to my event. Her and her sister was gonna, try this other resource and see if it was gonna pan out. The day of, I get up, she up. Good morning. It's Saturday. Well before the event, because we had planned to get up and start getting ready so that, her and her sisters could go their way and be ready and on time, and then me go my way. And me and her get to talking. I just felt led to ask her. I'm like, hey, look. I was like, I really want to go to this event. Like, I don't want to miss it. I need to be there. I know there's some good information that I can receive. I know there are some connections that I can make. Man, this would be really good. Like, it's super important. I say, but I also know this other thing, which was unexpected, is also important that we remedy this. And I'm like, looking at the time, we got like 2-3 weeks to like lock this thing in. And I'm like, man, sweetheart, what are we gonna do? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have some hesitation, and I need to ask you, do you feel like you would rather me stay with you and we continue working this thing through together, or can I go ahead as we plan? Me go to my event at the church, and then you go your way with your sisters. Tell me if they're hit or not after the fact, and then we make our next move together. I told her, because what I don't want to happen is, I really want to go to my event, right? But I don't want to go, and I don't want to leave you feeling like you're kind of shouldering this on your own, because I got your back. But because of the time, like the timing, we just want to be able to utilize all of our time like the best way we can. So while we need to split, and we can still do what we need to do afterwards. If you want me to just, don't go to that, and we can just go to this thing together, see what it is, and then go from there. Like, I'll do it. I just let her know. I said, but I do want to go to my event. I really stressed that because it was important. Nevertheless, she was just like, I don't feel like I'm alone. You've been here, every step of the way. But I don't know what to expect. And because it's so heavy of a situation, I'm feeling like if this thing don't go my way, I might I might crack, and I would want you to be there. I would not want to have to text and or call you at your event, or even wait for you to end your event and for us to like reconvene and then pick up from there. She was like, if you can, I would appreciate it if you came with me. But if you go to your event, I'll understand, and we can just pick up, where, we're going to pick up where we left off. Like, we're going to pick up from where we need to pick up. I said, okay, cool. And I sat with that. And she was like, but if you want to go to your event, because you already had this pre-planned, we didn't know that this situation was going to be this situation. So she was like, I know you had this pre-planned. I know you were looking forward to it. This other situation just kind of rocked the boat a little bit. So if you want to go, I'm cool. She's like, but I could use you there. I would, if I had a choice, I would, I want you to be there with me. I don't want to have to go by myself and fingers crossed this thing lands or doesn't land, and then deal with however that looks along. And I said, okay. And I had a struggle. I literally had a struggle because, baby, I was 1 foot out the door to what I wanted to do. But again, I just had a little nudge. I had some hesitation. And I'm like, I know I need to ask her. I don't just want to ride off what we said and just be completely oblivious to she may not be telling me like her true feelings about the situation, because she know I want to do what I want to do. And not only that, like this, we wasn't expecting this flop. So I struggled because I wanted to go, because I'm like, I need to be here. But I put that aside and I said, okay, look, I said, I'm not going to go to my event. I said, we going to go to this thing together and see if this thing, is a hit or miss. And then afterwards, we'll immediately, plan B, C, D. I said, because again, whatever happens, we need to get this thing wrapped up this weekend, because we don't really have no wiggle room after this point. So we went. When people, oh man, when people are putting together events to help people, please be mindful that your refreshments that you make available are not the main attraction. That's all I gotta say. We went to this place that was supposed to be a resource, and it wasn't. It was very lackluster. It was very, what, like, not, when somebody hypes something up to be something and you go and it's like lackluster. And again, like I say, your refreshments table is hidden. I mean, you in and out in 5 minutes and or less. And I'm like, well, since we, I don't want to say wasted time, but since we planned to be here and we expected something, we're definitely leaving out of here with these beautifully frosted and colorful cupcakes. Oh, y'all got home baked cookies, brownies. Look, vanilla and chocolate this. Y'all got the barrel juices. Look, baby, y'all got pretzels, knickknacks, and snacks. Yeah, cause I'm leaving here with some. I didn't come here to snack, but you know what? I came here to snack because I'm leaving here with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was lackluster. I shouldn't have been there. But again, this was like the second go around of something in this way. And I said, we're not doing this again. I said, we're not doing this again. I said, I can't go to a third situation like this and come out like, what are we doing? I know people be trying. I know people be trying. I mean, the decor was, they put the effort into the decor. The way they set everything up it was really nice. It was, and the people, there, they were very nice. Okay. I really want to. However, the snacks and beverages and light refreshments shouldn't, and the decor even, should not be outperforming the reason why you guys, you got flyers. Like, we got flyers. You post the stuff on the social media, like, and your product availability is very minuscule. Nevertheless, we went out. We had our snacks that brought our spirits up so that we can move on to plan B, C, and D. So, plan B, C, and D hit. Plan B, C, and D hit. And the favorable part about it, I'm a big bargain. I'm all about the bargains because I have multiple children. I'm a mother of multiple children, and I'm holding down by myself, right? So I'm always for the bargain deal. And I knew God. First of all, there was an instant something happened on the way to B. No, on the way to C. On the way to C option, because we went to another resource and it was still a flop just because of the selection. Now this place, baby, they got it. They product is producting. However, they're I wouldn't say it was budget friendly. And some of the more budget friendly items were marked up. We had been somewhere else looking into some stuff, and we like, this is inflated. I'm like, considerably. I'm like, I know how much this is. I said, this is greatly inflated. I said, we seen this at a couple other spots for 75 to 100 or more, less. I'm like, no, we ain't messing with these shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So after that, on our way to C, there was a little panic in the air. There was a conversation that was taking place. And I'm like, okay, this is what we finna do. I said, if it don't happen today, I'm like, it gotta happen today. I said, something gotta happen today. It gotta happen today. If not, boom, 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 woo, woo, woo. I gotta make some other arrangements. Da 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 da. We just gonna have to cancel this and call it what it is. And my big girl gonna say, Mom, we don't need that energy right now. We need positive energy. We don't even want to put that into the air. It's gonna work out. Just because we don't know how it's gonna work out, we need to know it's going to work out, and our conversation needs to reflect that. Mom, if your conversation is not going to reflect that, we don't know how it's going to work out, but we know that it's going to work out. She said, be quiet, because respectfully, you're not helping the situation. And I ain't like it. I rebutted twice. Not too bad, but I did. But she was right. She was right. And I said, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to put that out there. I'm just saying, like we over here trying to play connect the dots. The dots ain't connecting. So I'm getting antsy. Not impatient, but I'm just getting antsy and a little worried. Maybe a little anxious. And then my girl say, she looking out the window, and she wasn't fussing, but she was just lining her mama up respectfully. And I appreciate it. And we was driving, and she say, it's a cross in the sky. We gonna find something. It's gonna happen. I say, a cross. I say, where you see a cross at? And sure enough, y'all know how some of them planes be doing whatever they doing in the air, and they leave that little smoke or whatever have you, that little smoke tail behind them. Well, for whatever reason, however it worked out, sure enough was a cross in the sky. And I say, Lord, I say, okay. I said, you know what, Destiny? I'm finna get in line. I said, it's a cross in the sky. God got us. I said, God got us. So we gonna ride this wave. I ain't gonna say nothing else that's not in alignment with God got us, whether we know it or not, how it's gonna play out or not. It's gonna happen. So fast forward. Now we on our way to, the next resource. Hoping, and we were successful. I will say that. Now, there was some other turbulence that happened in between C and D, but look, I'm at 20 minutes because y'all see the girl can talk. So we went to this last resource. It played out. It played out in our favor. It played out in our favor very well. Budget friendly, because mama for the budget. And like I said, there were some similarities in styles that, like I said, the place C, y'all inflated. I ain't mad at you, but y'all inflated. I got 3 kids. I'm holding it down on my own, okay? So we went in there and we got what we got, and we were settled. I was settled. But then, well, look, then we had to go check out another resource. So where we at? Well, I say B to C, C to D, whatever. So whatever letter we on now, we had to make one more stop because it was applicable to the situation. And not only, like, everything just lined up with things. The look, the, the look is looking. Our event, the look is looking. Okay? I'm talking about, and all the way down to the feet, the what they call them little nails, the babies. The things are very different nowadays. You don't have to spend all that crazy money on no nails, baby. You can get you some nice little nail press-ons for the fingers and the toes. Come on now, fingers and toes. Okay, because we about being a budgetista. Okay, I keep telling y'all, there's a lot of girls over here. All girls. So all the way like down to the feet. Color, perfection. Then we caught another favor blessing. We ringing out. And the purchase qualifies for a discount. Come on, discount. And then the gentleman, he looked up something. I put my information in because you got to put your information in and all this other little mess. And something came up in the system, and he was like, "Oh, I see you part of the such and such and such rewards. Da, 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 da. We got an online such and such. There's an online only discount available, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there for you too." So now we had 30% off. Child, won't he do it? I say, "Come on, cashier." I'm so happy. I was just cheesing. I was cheesing big because I was just like, look at God. I was so happy, y'all. It was such a large burden lifted for me because I was kind of like, oh my God, how we here? Why are we here? Like, why is this even happening? But there was a flow, even though there was some turbulence, there was a flow that I had begun to notice. But I didn't say nothing. But when my oldest said something, I said, "Are you seeing that?" Because she started kind of going back and forth with me a little bit on something. And I said, "Girl, like, this the look, like, this perfect. Like, what are you arguing? Like, it don't get no better than this." I'm talking about it don't get no better than this. We could take some concessions on what we can, you know what I'm saying, take down on. This is it. What are you questioning? I say, if you don't listen to me, you're going to regret it. Because when it comes to this one particular thing, I have an eye for, like, stuff. I said, girl, you leave up out of here and you don't get that there, you going to be hearing my mouth in your head. And you going to see me in your dreams, girl. Because you're going to be mad yourself. Nevertheless, the experience was a wonderful one because ultimately both myself and my daughter were so linked or so connected. I was able to sense I needed to take down and sacrifice what I wanted to do to make sure my daughter was secure emotionally concerning the hiccups and delays and just flops that were happening, with this upcoming event that we have. Like, stuff just, it just, when you deal with stuff and it seems like a repetitive kind of cycle of like delay or no and or not yet, or it's just not working out, that can wear on a person. You can be the most faithful of people all you want to, but we're human. And when you believe in God for something to come together, when your support is not like everybody else's, when your resources are not like everybody else's, when your budget is not like everybody else's to, do the most, it's tough. It's tough. And I'm just happy that I was able to, sense to home in and really look at where my daughter was with the situation and see what she wanted to do, and then be, in tune enough to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice what I want to do so I can make sure that emotionally you are secure. You backed up. I got you. We gonna work together. We gonna figure this thing out so that our stuff can come together like it's supposed to. You don't have to feel like you're shouldering anything alone. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. You don't have to feel like you're shouldering any part of this alone, because again, the link don't be linking. And like I said, it kind of seems to be like a pattern of like disruption in that way. So that, we were able to successfully make sure that was locked in, and everything is taken care of. Now we can wait without heaviness, because we were waiting with heaviness. So mothers, be in tune with your child, with your daughter especially, and be mature enough that, if something is happening that's not really lining up the way that you want it to, be mature enough to receive a wise word of correction when your child got the upper hand. Because we not mothers as much as we want to be. We not always right, okay? Our intentions may be lined up a certain way, but baby, we be tripping sometimes. And in this, I definitely was tripping, because baby, I was just like, I can't even believe we here. Why are we here? Why is this even an issue? This is supposed to be boom, 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 boom. We was good. Sometimes you're not. So what you gonna do in the mean and in between time? You know, I was glad that I was mature enough to let my daughter take the lead in faith real quick, and just be like, hey, if you're not in alignment with positivity, knowing however it happened, it's going to work out, then hush all that other stuff. I had to hush. And then, I just saw God move. And I felt that weight be lifted up off of us. And, it's important that we as mothers do our best to be mindful and intentional about, showing up for our daughters emotionally. Because if this was a situation concerning me and my mama, she would have done what she deemed she could do, and I would have been left to figure it out on my own. And that's what was really kind of pulling on me to ask her, because I knew I wasn't leaving her to figure out anything on my own, but I know her and I are built different, and how I came up with my mama my reality in that space is not my daughter reality in that space. So I knew we built different when it comes to certain things because our realities were different. So I knew to check in with her, say, hey, I know we discussed this happening like this, but do I need to go with you? Or can I go to my thing and you go and we link up and we move from there? Like something told me, because we locked in, like I know my child. You need to know your child like that when you need to step in and be like, hey, is you good? We got to change up the plan. I got to take down. That's what parenthood all about. That's what motherhood is about, sacrifice all day long. It look, if you're not here to put yourself to the side and understand that, plans change. Things are going to happen out of your doing. You're going to have to take down. You're going to have to take down your child in the most respectful way. And you're going to have to make sure that they're emotionally sound, that they feel supported. You got to be there. You got to be there in body, not just physically, but you got to be there for them emotionally. We are their model. We are their model. And they need to feel like they have a partner. They need to feel like their parent is their partner when things is a little shaky. You can't have that mentality, oh, you're going to figure it out like I had to figure it out. And how did that make you feel? Like if you was a person raised like that, how did that make you feel? So if you didn't feel so good having to figure it out on your own in that way, why would you make your child do that? Why would you put your child in the same position? I ain't want my daughter to feel like that. Not even a little bit. And ultimately, the the greatest part, the greatest thing about it for me, not only is that it worked out, I'm so glad it worked out. Ooh, I was thanking God, baby. But my daughter thanked me for being there for her. She's like, it's been a very emotional couple of weeks because of just a lot of things that she has yet to share with me. She's like, I ain't telling you everything, but I've, been struggling with some stuff the last couple of weeks. And you being there and going out of your way to make sure that even if you had to put something down that you really wanted to do that was already, pre-planned, she's like, you being there really made a world of difference. Like it really made a world of difference. And I'm glad that I can call on you and depend on you in that way and that you'll show up. And baby, I was like, I'm glad to do it. Oh, that just meant the world to me. That meant the world to me. For everything that happened, I was just like, dang. Shoot, she feeling seen, baby. I feel seen too. Shoot. Girl, because sometimes we feel as parents like, y'all don't even be honoring the sacrifice. Y'all just be wanting this and wanting to do me here, take me there. I can't. Parenthood is funny like that. And these girls will catch attitude on you. They don't like the word no. They cross a certain threshold in their teenagerism. No, what do you mean? Or wait, or why? Baby, they be prior. Like, why we can't? Like, baby, what I look like? I ain't no snap your fingers at me. But man, that for her to tell me that, I was like, man, it was worth it. It was worth all of the, that we went through for her to just let me know that she saw the sacrifice and she was appreciative that I took down to make sure she was good. I'm like, girl, if ain't nobody gonna do it, mama gonna do it. Mama gonna do it. Well, that's what my kids know. I'm coming. I'm there. We gonna figure it out. I'm feeling proud. I'm just feeling like a proud mom. And for all you other moms out there shouldering it with 1, 2, 3. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. Keep showing up, because I promise at times when it doesn't feel like they see or they notice or it's worth it, or you know what I'm saying, like they see, they notice, and it's worth it. Like the sacrifice is worth it. The sacrifice is worth it. Show up for your child. Show up for your daughter. Show up for your daughters. It means so much to them, especially because we're grooming young women who are still learning. They're on the learning journey of, figuring things out and learning, like, can I tell her this now? Should I tell her this now? Oh, no, let me wait. Because like she said, there's some things that she had been shouldering that she had not yet divulged to me. So we'll be having other conversations. And yeah, just for her to just be like, man, thank you for being there. What more could I ask for? I was proud. I was proud of me. I be trying, y'all. I be trying to be intentional. I'm just mothering the way that I wish I was mothered. I handle my girls the way I wish I was handled. I was so mishandled. I'm just like, I don't want my minds to feel like that, because that sucks. You know what I'm saying? So just remember that sometimes it's okay to, step back and show up for your seeds. Show up for your daughters. Okay? Show up for your daughters. It's that simple. Even when it's rough, show up. Don't leave your daughter, your female, out here to figure it out for herself. You don't know. There's so many ways that could go. It's a female child. It's so many ways that can go. I'll get into that in another video. And I know it because I've been through it. So, show up for your daughters, y'all. I will see y'all in the next video. Please, before you leave, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button on this video. If you know somebody who could use this content, share the video. And if you enjoyed this kind of content from me, I got to look around, y'all. Y'all don't know where I'm at. If you like this kind of content, continue to follow, subscribe. If it's a bell notification thing, do it. Okay, just do it. Show up for your girls, okay? I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.